All right, we're good.
All right.
I'm Ryan Allen.
I'm Michael Kenton.
I'm Nick French.
I'm Ben Simone.
I'm Michael Kwame, and we are Vyne Lighting Solutions. LEDs are something people pay for all the time, or light bulbs are something that people pay for all the time. What a lot of people don't know is the most common type of light bulb, incandescents, spend 90% of their energy on heat, making them horribly inefficient. LED light bulbs, on the other hand, only spend 10% of their energy on heat, making them much more savings efficient. Not to mention, they last up to 20 times longer and can reduce the risk of fire in your house. That sounds great, so why are people buying these bulbs if they're so much better? It's for one main reason. It's because they are very expensive. LEDs can range anywhere from $20 to $40 for some signature bulbs. A lot of people can't afford to convert their house to LED. That's where our business comes in. Vyne Lighting Solutions is an LED conversion service that basically helps finance customers to convert their house to LED. So we go to their house, we evaluate what light bulbs they have and what light bulbs they need, and we come back and we replace them all for free. There is no installation fee, no upfront cost, and the customer pays us back over time in an affordable way. Now here's our pricing model. So the customer gets to choose one of those four options for how long they want to pay it back. For 0 months, obviously, we're just an installation service. They pay out front, and that's all. For the other months, they choose to pay over that amount of time. And obviously, the longer duration they choose, they have to pay a little bit more money to get that longer duration. Now this number to the right here is how long it takes for the customer to make that money back in electrical savings. LEDs are so efficient that an average house, once switched to LED, can save $30 a month on their electric bill. So using that average, we can calculate that this is how long it would take for them to make their money back. And for the last two, they're actually making their money back before they finish paying us, so it's really efficient for them. Most importantly, Vyne Lighting Solutions helps save you money, helps protect the environment by reducing emissions, and can reduce the risk of fire in your house.
Moving forward, to find our total addressable market is $51.3 billion. We did this by calculating the entire population of America, which is 318 million, times the number of houses in America with at least 2 people living in the house, and times the population of people living in the lower to middle class, which is who we're mostly trying to reach in our customer segments, because most people are trying to save more money on their electrical bill. Times our frequency of purchase, which is 18 months, which is our standard pricing model, which we gained from the survey on people who would pay over time, times our cost on average for a house would be $26.12 to get $51.3 billion. For our SAM, it's basically the exact same process, but for the 5 surrounding areas of Barrington, Palatine, Schaumburg, and other surrounding provinces of Illinois, just to start out small from the year 1, which is comes out to 13 million. With such a large opportunity and potential for our company, there has to be other people in the same field or close to the same field. So some of our competitors are Earth LED. However, they're not really, they're indirect competitors of ours because they're a wholesaler. They just provide bulbs at a cheaper cost to people who need them, like no other service required or anything else. Lighting Sciences is a company, direct competitor of ours, but however, they're just involved in commercial installations in parking garages and other such large commercial buildings, and we're trying to have a more residential and personal service to people to help them save money and provide a more green outlook on the world. Energy Makeovers is a very direct competitor of ours, but they're based in Australia. They do things like they install for houses in Australia, but they're government subsidized, so they get rebates and everything from the government, which we do not do. And then ComEd Smart Ideas is very similar to us, however, they are just starting, so we're trying to get our foot in the door before them so we can have a large customer basis and hopefully have an exit strategy for them later in our company's lifespan. And also, they're very inefficient because you have to apply. It's a very confusing road to go down to apply and be eligible to receive this service. And it's very confusing, and we have talked to them before, and it's highly inefficient.
All right, so we have a recurring revenue model. So what that means is that we're going to be charging a monthly fee based on how many bulbs we install, as well as the price of the bulb. The more expensive and the more bulbs we install, the higher the monthly fee. So for the average house of 47 light bulbs, with the most common wattage of a 60-watt incandescent being replaced by an LED, comes out to roughly $26 a month for 18 months. For marketing, we intend to use a combination of both free marketing and paid marketing. For free marketing, we're going to go put an ad in the magazine Living 60010, as well as rely on customer statements, referrals, and finally be going door to door. For our paid marketing, we intend to hire a sales team roughly around year 3 and give them a 15% commission. We also intend to set up booths in hardware stores such as Ace, as well as distribute flyers and create a mailing list. Our cost is primarily for the light bulbs, which comes out to roughly $3 a bulb for the 60 watt. We got the price from wholesale from Ace Hardware. We also factored in 2 hours of installation at $12.50. So in total, for the average house of 47 light bulbs, it comes out to roughly $166 with a gross margin of 64.7%. And this is our 5-year model. As you can see, in year 1, we're not actually making any money. This is due to the fact that we have to pay for the bulbs all up front and make that money back over time. In years 4 and 5, you see a spike. That's due to our sales team that we're hiring in year 3, as well as due to the unique nature of our model. Some of the revenue from the previous years is carried over due to the 18-month contract.
Alrighty, so for our MVP, we have 2 parts. The first part is going to Ace Hardware. We partnered with John Brown, who's the owner of Ace Hardware off of 14, and he told us that we could walk into the store and set up a kiosk in order to engage with customers. He told us that 70% of the people that walk through that door are there for just light bulbs, which is a great opportunity for us to engage with customers and see if people are interested in our company. He also told us that we need to look professional when we enter his store, so we bought these shirts that you see on us today. And so for the past couple of weeks, we've been going there and talking to customers, and we've given out 110 flyers, and we've gotten 30 emails. This shows that people are interested in our company, but the problem is that they don't commit. They don't necessarily understand completely, and that's just from a simple problem of us explaining our company very well. And we've definitely improved over time. And but the problem is people don't understand that our company is beneficial for them either way. It's risk-free, and they're going to be saving money either way because LEDs are so efficient. And so we've been able to talk to them and kind of prove to them that LEDs are awesome. So now that we've engaged with customers, we can move on to our next phase, which is actually going to houses and doing assessments. We've done 4 assessments so far, and these assessments include going into the house, counting the number of light bulbs, calculating the number of kilowatts, and then also calculating how much money they're going to be saving monthly, annually, etc., what it's going to cost us. All that stuff, and then we're going to be doing 2 more houses soon while finishing the process of closing the last 4. So this house right here is Simon Dunn's house. We met him at the Barrington Business Expo, and he allowed us to do his house, and Michael Kim will go through some of the details.
So here are some of the specific numbers of his house. He wants us to replace 34 of his bulbs, and this will add up to a total savings of about $11 per month. Yearly, he'll save just under $130, and 22 years. After 22 years, the average lifespan of LEDs, he'll save just under $3,000. So his cost per month is $24 for 18 months, and for us, it's only $204 upfront. Our payback period is 8 months, and since he has mostly CFLs right now, or fluorescents, his payback period is a little bit longer at 3.5 years. Now, a more average example is the average American household, which is 47 light bulbs. Their monthly savings will be $30. Yearly, that'll be $360. After 22 years, they'll save just under $8,000. Their cost per month will be $17 for 18 months, and our cost will be $141 approximately. Their payback period will be about a little over 10 months, and ours will be about 8 months. Now, in the end, we're asking for $30,000 in return for our 18% equity stake in our company. And what will we do with this money? We will use $2,000 for equipment such as ladders, fixtures, and any other things that we need to replace the light bulbs. A huge portion of our capital ask is for our initial inventory, and for $15,000, this will help support us for the first 8 months, or 88 houses. And that's when we start to turn profitable. And our liquidity cushion is $7,000 because we're dealing with a lot of money and we want to definitely have some backup. And our maximum cumulative loss is $6,000.
We're Vyne Lighting Solutions, your future as bright.
Well done. Cost of capital is in here somewhere, right? Because you're floating it for 18 months or 24 months or 36 months. What did you use for that?
So, that should,
Because that's one of your biggest challenges is you have to outlay cash for the light bulbs, and then you may have to pay back for 2 years. So you're charging them some juice, I'm assuming.
yeah. So just depending on the pricing model, and so if they choose 0 months, we're obviously getting our money back
That's
instantly from day one, or month one, I mean.
right.
So it's very dependent upon the pricing model. However, we get more money back depending on like the longer duration of the pricing model or option that they choose. And then so for our capital funds, so I think it was $15,000 for our initial startup for our initial.
Yeah, I'm not articulating myself well.
Oh, sorry.
So I want to do the 24-month plan.
Yeah.
Let's just say it costs you $200, and I'm going to pay you back X amount over 2 years. It's got to be more than $200, right? Because if I'm a client sitting across the table, I would say, what interest rate are you charging me? Because I may be able to get my own money at 8%, and you're getting me at 15. Does that come up in the conversation? And what interest rate are you using? Because you're using capital.
So it'd be 1.5 times cost for our 18-month, or for 1.5 times our cost. So whatever like cost for the entire light bulb, let's say is $200 to replace the entire house. It'd be 1.5 times 200. So it'll be that cost and 1.5 times that for installation, like factoring in our installation cost, and
But that's margin.
yeah.
But does it go up if it's more than 18 months?
Yes, the higher, the longer.
This is
How
where,
how did you establish that schedule? Like, what are the inputs that
It's
create
just,
that
it's
schedule?
pretty, it's directly related to the time, so, I mean, it's just, it's a ratio.
So let me try to add to that. So you're in the financing business.
that's
You
right.
forget the installation. That's a cost. You're in the financing business. And if you have to pay 5% to borrow 100 bulbs, what are you going to charge your clients for those 100 bulbs? 5% for 2 years. What would you charge your client? Would you charge them 8%? Because what you have to come up with is the early cash. So you might not have it yet, but you should noodle that out because each term you're going to borrow is going to be a different interest rate. And you should make sure that you're making money on that interest. That an installation is additional, but you're an interest income business. And that business is spectacular if you can find, and that's what leases are. So that's you have to figure out what that model is, to Greg's point, to say, if I'm going to borrow money at 5%, I'm going to give it to you at 8%, so you make 3 points. Do you understand what I'm, do you
No
understand?
owner's going to accept that if they're 200 times 1.5, they're going to say, your sale price is 300 in this example. And they're going to say, what are you charging me as an interest rate to use your money? And you're going to have to say something. 6, 8, 9, 3, whatever it is.
Or you can bury it into your pricing and say that's all calculated, we don't disclose that.
You
but-
could do that too, absolutely.
There's an interesting way to fund this business, which is a traditional bank will actually lend you money based upon the money that's owed to you by customers. It's called accounts receivable. You'll have a bunch of accounts receivable here that a lender will probably lend you 80% of that or something like that to borrow against. Have you thought about bad debt, and if somebody doesn't pay you, how are you going to protect yourself against somebody that you've done all the work, you put out put in all the light bulbs, and they only pay you 4 months and they stop paying you?
So that was definitely trouble we had, but our original plan is we're going to set it up originally when we start billing them as a credit card bill, which they have the right to cancel. So it's automatic, so they don't have to think about it as much. And if they do cancel it, then we send them a bill, and that's where the bill collection comes in. We'll probably use this.
You're going to probably have some bad debt.
Well, we're
here.
hoping that by having it be an automatic thing, they'll think about it less, and we'll have a lower amount of people that refuse to.
Who was your,
Did you finance it at your business for clients?
No.
No.
This
Who
is
was
your,
your bought it?
who was your target market? Again,
Lower middle class.
lower to middle class. Where is credit risk highest? Right. So there has to be, a lot of these businesses in their cost of goods sold will have a bad debt allowance for these things. Have you ever heard of, who Elon Musk is? Yeah, so Elon Musk is also involved in a company called Solar City. Solar City does this, but for solar panels. And what they eventually ended up doing was they created an entire market to finance those customers. They're not even involved anymore. But they had to create a market. They do it issuing solar bonds that solve that problem for them of funding these cash flows that they weren't getting all up front, like you wish you were, but you can't.
So you're basically selling your light bulbs at wholesale price and charging interest to finance it.
And retail, and selling retail.
Yeah, so like on the $204, that one example you had, your cost was $204, how much money would you make on that house?
Nick, can you go to that page?
Roughly,
It was like your average.
our cost, yeah.
The average, one back.
Your cost, it cost you $204
Nope,
to.
the other one.
You were there.
No, the right one.
There you go, that one.
Now go to the Dunn house.
Next,
Oh, sorry.
so it cost you $204 to put the light bulbs in and install it. How much would you make on top of the $204 from the interest that you would get back?
We'll be making approximately $200 in profit.
Another $200.
So that depends also on the pricing model, so like the longer the pricing, like the payment option, the more money we'll be making back just over a longer period of time.
So I guess I propose, it's like, the financing thing doesn't seem like that's really, it's got a lot of risk associated with, like Carlos just said. Why not just, make, I'm just throwing this out because I haven't done the math, but, make, $50 on that profit. So you're adding value by giving them a better break than going to a retail store. And you're doing, and you're adding the whole estimating aspect and showing them. And then the transaction's over. You can give them the option to pay the $250 in one payment or two payments, if they don't want to come up with $250 at one time. But then it's done, and then you're not carrying all that interest.
Yeah.
And you can buy, you don't need to buy a large inventory. You can buy, I don't know if it's possible, but buy, as you need.
And when you'd want to finance
Yeah.
the bulbs is you
Right.
just charge more for
I'm
financing.
just saying, it just gets you out of that hole, plus you have to have a collection billing system that hasn't been factored into this.
What Carter's saying is you're adding value already.
Yes,
If you offer
big
a
time.
0 month, you're adding a lot of value.
Yeah.
And the financing part can be a bolt-on later when you kind of get your sea legs and you can.
And you're representing the financing part is really a recurring revenue. It's not. It's, what it is it's payment terms.
Correct.
That's not recurring. You're just spreading, you're giving the client the benefit of spreading the payment out over time. In fact, it's almost non-recurring because they last for 22 years.
Yeah.
I just would like to say, we went to the Better Business Expo with them. My husband's a die-hard incandescent guy, okay? He doesn't like LEDs. After speaking with Nick and the guys and seeing their demo, he actually they changed him, and now he's considering LEDs in the house. I mean, and
Call
you
her
didn't bring your demo box, but they showed that they had a demo box of the different lighting and stuff. I mean, I think it's a really great idea, and if you could change a hardcore, guy like that, I think it's got potential.
Well, the value prop of you coming into somebody's house and telling them all the bulbs they need and going and buying them at wholesale and then installing them,
Yeah.
I'll pay you right now, no payment terms, pay you your profit, and you can go right away. Now, that's a different market.
So what's that assessment cost? Because that's a whole other thing that you can show them savings, but what do you charge for, Simon lets you come in, what do you charge for that assessment?
It's a free quote.
It's a free quote right now.
Okay. We gotta figure out the
That's the
monetization.
value.
That's
Big
a
opportunity.
separate deal. You'll do it, and if you come up with a savings that's less than 2 years, they'll buy, because that's called a trial close. Because you don't want to go there and it comes up with 1 year and they say, no thanks. You want to say, if I can prove to you, we'll save mine 18 months, we'll do the audit for free. If not, we'll charge you $75. That's a qualifier. But two, one of the biggest things I remember from the MVP was we were concerned about lighting, and you coming in and matching the exact lighting. That was the biggest concern I had with this idea. What did you do with that since the MVP?
We've still taken that on, we're still matching colors and we have a whole diagram of everything, all color spectrum when it comes to the intensities. like warm white, soft white, all the color spectrums, and then matching them when we go onto the quote. So when we did the quote, we have the diagram with customer to make sure that we have, oh, this room is this way. Like in the den, for example, I want a more like homey feel,
Right.
to make sure that it's more comfortable for like more guests to sit in, so it's a warm, soft white, like between that to make sure that it's a more comfortable feel.
The whole mood.
Yeah.
The mood is,
Yeah.
last statement right here.
Right.
Is it fake it till you make it, or are you in it to win it?
We're in it.
In it to win it, all right. Good job.